Welcome back, guys. Today we're going to be doing a battle of the Knives Thug and the EMP Designs, or EMP EDC Designs, Nymble. Alright, so you guys know my comparison videos. I kind of stole the format from a couple different reviewers as far as the categories. So we're going to go off of aesthetics, blade, fit and finish, fidget factor, carry factor, ergonomics, and value. I also graded on a 0 to 2 system. So 0 being you did not win the category, 1 being that you barely won the category, and 2 being you decimated the category, right? So that's what we're grading these on. Remember, these comparison videos are not to say which knife is better. It's kind of to have fun. It creates an entertainment value. I do look at it as objectively as possible. So during these categories, I would like to say that it is objectively driven to see which one is better at each category and in the end. Without further ado, let's get to it. So first and foremost, we always start with aesthetics. Now, here's the weird thing about this. I have the wrong version of the Nymble. I think everybody who purchased the Nymble in the first wave has the wrong version of the Nymble. Have you guys seen? Go look at EMP Design's site, right? Go look at the Nymbles that he's got coming out with now. Holy shit! These things look so freaking cool. Most of them got the frag pattern, because he kind of listened, like probably the frag pattern sold out twice as fast as this, which is why I was able to get this and not the frag pattern. But he did all these different colors of the frag pattern and the blade, and it just looks so cool. This model looks very clean. It looks very cool, and I like the purple blue offsets with the regular colors. Let me clean this off again. I'm really bad about that before I start a video. But I can honestly say that as it stands right now, if I had one of those other models, this would be a much tighter comparison. Actually, I don't know that I could give a win if I had one of those other models, but because I have this model, pure aesthetics, pure subjective value, and one of the only categories that is relatively subjective, well, mostly subjective, is aesthetics, and I have to give the win to the Knives Thug for 1 point. Now, like I said, if this was one of the other models, this would be a different story. So we're looking at 1 to 0 for the Knives Thug, taking down the aesthetics. Next, let's take a look at the blade. So I believe this is 20 CV. Shit, I forgot what the Nymble's blade is. I believe it. Let's just assume this is 20 CV. I think the thick boy is coming out in S35 to keep the price down. So this is either M390 or 20 CV or equivalent. All right, so we got this really beautiful satin finish with this flat grind that's coming out about just over half of the blade. Now the behind the edge thickness is, I can check it right here so we can check sliciness. I want to say it's pretty damn slicey, but I don't remember. It's about 15 thousandths behind the edge, which is the same as the Knives Thug. I only know that because I just did the review like 20 minutes ago. So there's that. The cutting edges are just about the same type of sliciness. You got a full flat grind here. You have this compound like going on here. So I hate to give it to the Thug because I feel like I'm giving it an aesthetic win, but the blade just looks cooler. But functional. If we're going to speak function, blade function, right? You have a lot better going on for the Nymble, despite the blade length. You're losing a little bit of blade length due to that choil, but that choil comes into ergonomics as well. So the Nymble is going to really, I'm going to give it actually a 1 point to the Nymble because function-wise, this is aesthetically gorgeous, right? But I don't know what the hell I'm going to use a 2.5-inch Japanese style Tonto with a hollow and a flat grind that have the same exact thickness behind the edge for more than I would this really, really cool looking drop point, almost spear point looking thing, right? It's almost a spear point because this is dead center. It's kind of a spear point. But I have to give the win, and this is where the 0-1-2 system kind of throws me off. In my opinion, it should get a 2 for the Nymble, but I don't see anything wrong with the Thug, so I'm only going to give it a 1. So it's going to be a 1-to-1. So the aesthetics are going 1 point to the Thug. Blade shape's going, or blade's going 1 to the Nymble. If I wanted to go aesthetics on the blade, I would probably go with the Thug too. But function-wise, yeah. All right, let's talk fit and finish here, guys. So fit and finish, I'm going to reclassify fit and finish. I'm going to define it for you right here. Because what I don't want to do is keep talking fit and finish when every knife company these days, if you're comparing two high quality knives, you're getting almost the same quality, right? I mean, I don't see any quality deficits. Now, I don't see a ding coming from there or this. You know, there's a purple screw and a blue screw, but that's part of the aesthetic. This is purple and blue on the pivot. So we're gonna redefine fit and finish for my comparison videos going forward from here on out. The definition of fit and finish is not only how well and quality oriented you put your knife together, but it's also going to be based on how many intricacies of that knife were done and done well, right? So and this is where I'm kind of getting into this, I feel like the Nymble has a lot more intricacies done with the handle, right? We have a lot more angles, a lot more cutouts. We got this right here going on down there, and then a little bit of chamfer going around the edges, some heavy chamfering going around here. You got this stone-washed titanium finish, which looks really cool. You got this lanyard hole right there. Then you have this, I wanted to call it Timascus, but it's not. It's just a anodized titanium backspacer with the serial number there. And then you got this ridiculously unique pocket clip, which is just really, really cool. And it's definitely geared towards EMP EDC because I believe the thick boy is coming with that as well. So you got all that. And then you have all these different opening methods that all work so well with this jimping that is, it's one of the only people that have done it so well that you got it functional wherever you want. Then the follower that goes in here, and so there's so many things going on here. Now the We Knives Thug, I was originally thinking as I started talking here that I was going to kind of downgrade this, right? It's kind of 2 slabs of titanium, which by the way, this titanium on the inside is milled out. This titanium is not. This is kind of 2 titanium slabs put together, but it's not. You have all this really intricate blade work going on here that the Nymble has in like, excuse me, in the Fuller, but it doesn't have it, you know, it's as intricate as this, plus the hand satin finish kind of going into a little bit more detail there. You have this nice little pivot collar that's like just a slight different color, just enough to be like, that's cool. And then you have this backspacer with this really cool looking lanyard post right there, little dog bone lanyard post. So I guess what I'm getting at here is fit and finish, while I redefined it for this purpose to declare a winner, both of these are kind of even. I think they both did the fit and finish really well. They both have a lot of intricacies going on, and they both executed those intricacies really, really well. So the fit and finish is going to end up in a 0. Now, so that leaves us with aesthetics at 1, blade at 1 for the Nymble, aesthetics at 1 for the Thug, and fit and finish at 0. The reason I recap that is not for you, it is for me. Remember, I'm not going off of notes. This is kind of me just free-forming this. I love to do the free-form. If you guys told me to write it down, I would stop doing it. It's not fun for me anymore. All right, next, let's get into Fidget Factor. Whoa. I think we all know who's going to win this one, right? And if you don't, you should. All right, so the We Knives Thug. Reverse flick, awesome. Action, good. And I say good, I can clean it up to make it awesome. So you can thumb flick it and reverse flick it. And I can kind of catch it on the blade. That's where the action lies. Now let's check out the Nymble. Reverse flick. Action. I haven't done anything to this and I've carried it. It is probably one of the smoothest actions I have ever felt. You can thumb flip it out. You can front flip it out. You can flipper tab it out. You can slow roll the thumb flick, or the front flip. Yeah, it's a hands down utter decimation from the Nymble to the Thug. A 2-1 or 2-0 win. Yes, the Thug's good, but holy shit, you don't compare with this. This is something that compares on par with like the Smock, right? Those of you that have a Smock, where's my Smock at? Oh, Smock. Yeah, there it is. I mean, this is on par with the fun carry of the Smock. The Nymble is just so good. And here's the even more interesting part. They executed this fun Fidget Factor in flawless action without a button, right? Most of these super fidgety knives that we oh so love, I'm sweating on a fly if I sound all jittery, come with a button lock. Well, this one doesn't. This doesn't have a button lock, and it still executes it so well. Like I said, the only thing I think I've done was put a drop of oil on the detent ball, and that is it. This thing just crushes it. Absolutely awesome. So the Nymble just jumped way ahead at a 3-1 lead, and yeah, it's pretty good. Let's talk about ergonomics. So the Wee Knives Thug, you can't choke up here. It actually feels really, really good. As I said before, I don't feel like you can use this for hard use tasks. And then I made the comment that if you have a 2.5-inch blade, you're probably not using it for hard use tasks unless it's like a box cutter with a 5-inch long handle. But then you put the Nymble in hand. And the non-choked up part feels really good, except for I'm falling off here, but then it gives you the option to choke up, which is where it shines. Oh goodness, this feels great. This is like this. I talked about the Thug reminding me of my Civivi Durus. The Nymble reminds me of the Civivi Durus in the choked up position. It just feels that good. And I haven't used it, and I'm telling you guys, I use my knives. I just don't use them super hard to use every day, right? Having used it, this is definitely really, really nice. And going back to blade, where I gave, what did I give? Did I give the blade the Nymble? Another point to the Nymble that I didn't really mention is that it has a point. This point is directly in line when you're carrying it. Now with the Thug, yes, it is upswept and it is in line, but it's kind of upswept more. It's pointing up rather than out. So you definitely get a little bit more piercing power there, not the double back. But anyways, what are we talking about? Ergonomics. So the ergonomics for the Nymble, I want to give it a 2, but I kind of feel bad for the Thug. This is where the subjective part of it comes in. The Thug is good, but the Nymble is great. I'm going to give the Nymble 1 because the Thug's not bad, and actually this feels really good, which is kind of counterintuitive to my Fidget factor 2-to-1, but, you know, deal with it. My channel. If you want to make one and take one away, go for it. Not to be arrogant or anything. It's kind of a shitty thing to say. But what I'm saying is I'm going to give 1 to the ergonomics for the Nymble. I think the Nymble really does do very well with ergonomics. So that gives the Nymble a 4-to-1 lead right now, and the only things that are left are carry factor and value. Because we have 1 point for the aesthetics for the Thug, 1 point for the blade on the Nymble, 0 points for the fit and finish because they were pretty much tied. The fidget factor is through the roof on the Nymble, so we're giving that a 2. And then the, what was the last one? Ergonomics. We're going to give it a 1. So there's a 4-to-1. Sorry for that. Had to recap for myself. So all that's left is carry factor and value. All right. So the carry factor. I'm going to do a new test, right? I just did this in the Thug video. Voila. Here's my khaki pants. You like my khaki pants? And I like me in my tight pants. So let's see how it goes in and out of the pocket. It's a little bit more tight, but once you get over that clip, you're good to go. Let's see how this one goes in and out of the pocket. Tighten it up. Same thing. It probably has to do more with the material. So as you can see here, there's more of the knife. Let's try to maximize this. There's much more of the knife sticking out on the Thug, but you get this really beautiful pocket clip sticking out on the Nymble. So there's that, right? Now let's flip it around. I shouldn't say but. Like the Nymble has the pocket clip sticking out, that's more, and the Thug has, you know, it's not as, hey, what's in your pocket? Whereas the Nymble, you're going to say, hey, what's in that pocket? That's a really beautiful blue piece of metal hanging out of your pocket. But, you know, the rest of the knife isn't sticking out. You can't tell it's a knife. As far as carry depth, they're just about the same, as you can tell, right? One kind of complaint here is this right here, this little pokey part, but I haven't noticed it in my pocket. The only time I noticed that little pokey part is when I was fidgeting for an excessively long period of time. I did notice that kind of rubbing into my hand after a long time. It was probably about an hour of fidgeting, which is also why that, I mean, it came awesome action, but it made me want to fidget with it more. So I'm going to give the carry factor a wash. These are both kind of comparable. I believe the Thug weighs a little bit more, but that's kind of irrelevant in my opinion. Not irrelevant, but irrelevant enough, right? It's not going to be game-changing. Last but not least, now that they're sitting on the rug of gold, the gold rug, I believe this is a Wee Knife lint-free cloth. All right, so let's talk about value. First, let's do a quick rundown of what these knives look like. Okay. Couple snail trails on that guy. Don't mind those. All right. So that's what these look like. Value-wise, what are we talking? The WeKnives Thug is coming in at about $250 on Blade HQ, okay? I bought it from White Mountain Knives for, I want to say I got it for $220 because I had that 10% discount code, but I don't think it was listed at $250 outright. I thought it was cheaper when it first came out. Now let's turn this to the side so you guys can see both the knives. The EMP Designs Nymble, I believe, came in at about $285. I think it was a little bit more. And here's the thing. So, those of you that don't know, the WeKnives Thug is manufactured by We. Shocker. The the EMP Nymble is manufactured by QSP. Interesting fact, right? The fun fact about that is having discussions with him, he actually sent his design out to several different OEMs, and they all sent him a prototype back. It was kind of a tryout because they sent him the knives back, and he chose the one that was the best. That's why the Thick Boy is going with Bestech, not because he was unhappy with the quality here. He did the same thing, I'm assuming, and sent out all the prototypes out, and they sent them all back, and he picked the one that had the best quality. So let's let that resonate for a second. He sent it out to, to my knowledge, all the ones that we know, or at least most that we know. And this is the one that had the best quality. So first and foremost, quality in mind. That's why you have these tolerances where I don't feel this. You don't hear this going back and forth with the detent ball or anything. They took care of the little things. This one has a little bit, but not much. I'm not saying the quality is night and day different, but the idea of that quality is really, really cool. Yes, you're getting the same thing for $30 cheaper and potentially more because of that discount code, right? With the WeKnives Thug. It's marketed by We. It's pushed by We. It's just Matt sent his design to We, and they took it and ran with it. Whereas EMP Designs sent in their design, the company made them, and he is the only one selling them. So there's a different process there, which, in my opinion, if QSP were to market and sell this knife, you would see it at the same price point as the Thug, if not cheaper, right? So I think that's kind of where some of it's coming from, is I think he has a lot of out-of-pocket expenses coming from that aspect, right? But it allows him to maintain full control over the knife. So value-wise, who wins? To be perfectly honest, guys, I can't give a win to either. In theory, if you want to go off of material alone, then you go with the WeKnives Thug. If you want to go off of intricacies, attention to detail, and they're both very attentive to detail, but if you want to go off of all that, I would give it to the EMP Designs Nymble. So because I'm torn, I'm not going to give it a win either way. And to be perfectly honest, it wouldn't make a difference because your winner is I keep calling it QSP, the EMP Designs Nymble. This is the winner of the showdown with the WeKnives Thug. And yes, the WeKnives Thug is awesome. And aesthetically, it might look cooler, but not when you compare it to the other models. Just saying. Smart move, releasing the better look in 1 second. Makes us want to buy another one. But point being is, this is the winner of the comparison battle. Hope you guys enjoyed this. I certainly did. This is a lot of fun for me. So if you guys like this format, let me know in the comments below. Don't slob on, whatever I mean. Don't drop to the knees or nothing. I'm saying if you like the format that's free flow, just say, hey, I like the free flow format. If you don't like it, say, hey, I would rather have a scripted format. And I'm not sure I'll listen. I kind of just want to do what I want to do, but I also love your guys' input. It really helps. I was trading knives on Reddit the other night, and unfortunately, a lot of my pictures of knives I don't have on my phone, but I have the videos posted online. So when I was going to trade, I go, here, just watch this video, dude. And he's like, oh, that's you? And I'm like, yeah, So and then he's like, oh, I really like this. Maybe you could think about this. And it's like dudes that you just met in the community are giving you feedback, and it's just really cool. So I'm all open to feedback. Just don't be a dick. The more you know. Thank you guys so much for watching. My name is Tyler. This is Everyday EDC. You guys stay sharp. Stay safe. Have a great freaking day. Go check out EMP Designs because they're awesome. And I think the Nymble's dropped. I don't know if there's any left, but they're going to be... He's got a lot of stuff in the works. So it's pretty exciting. Have a great day, guys.
Hey guys, thank you so much for watching. It genuinely means a lot. If you liked what you saw, please subscribe, hit the thumbs up, leave a comment. If you didn't like it, give me some feedback in the comments below and hit the thumbs down button. In case you guys don't know, I do have a Patreon, which will be listed right here. In that Patreon, we're giving bi-monthly giveaways to just the Patreons based on the number of Patreons that we have in the Patreon. We will also be giving discounts on all the knives that I sell based on the number of patrons. My name is Tyler. This is Everyday EDC. You guys stay sharp, stay safe, and have a great day.